All right, so should the U.S. let Chinese companies operate here while China seems to be scrutinizing U.S. companies operating over there? Of course, TSMC is in no way a Chinese company. It's a Taiwan-based company. Joining us now to discuss is Dewardric McNeal, Senior Policy Analyst at Longview Global and a CNBC contributor. Dewardric, welcome. How do you respond to what Mr. Danley said there, which is the idea that, well, we should just take the CHIPS Act money and give it to TSMC because they're the ones who know how to build fabs. They're the ones who know how to operate them. And why not just do that rather than try and reinvent the wheel with U.S. companies that are neither as good nor as able to create the way TSMC is?
Good to see you, Tyler. Thanks for having me. Listen, I think I want to first echo exactly your sentiments about TSMC. This is a company from Taiwan, not China. But to the point that was made, look, I think there's no question that TSMC is a leader in the semiconductor space. We cannot deny that. However, when we talk about the U.S. government and the CHIPS and Science Act funding, I think we have to understand that this is not just a look at this space from the commercial lens, right? There's a large national security piece that goes into the CHIPS and Science Act. And so I don't think that we're going to be giving it all to TSMC and letting it ride. I think what the CHIPS Act is looking to do is focus on more than just fabs and producing chips, but to build out a more secure and resilient ecosystem, total ecosystem. So research and development and design, fab, distribution. And so while, yes, it's been slow and we've seen some success with TSMC, less so with companies like Intel, I think for now, what's going to govern U.S. funding and action will be a broader ecosystem to include, Tyler, leaning on some allies to help do this. This is a bit challenging given the commercial competition with some of the allied companies, but that is the goal. It's really not to be dependent on one company as much as we love TSMC.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll come back to TSMC, but let me pivot just a little bit, and that is to question, why is China causing trouble? That's my phrasing. Why are they doing what they're doing now? And is it related directly or by inference to the idea that the U.S. has not exactly made it terribly easy for Chinese companies to get involved here in anything having to do with autonomous mobility, self-driving cars, that kind of work? Are they retaliating for what we've done?
This is a very good question, Tyler. When I first saw these reports, and again, to Eunice's point, we don't really know the company. So we don't know if it's Mobileye or not. We do know they have some issues with Intel. But let me take a step back and say, in Washington, this action will be viewed as calculated and reciprocal, and to strike back on what the Chinese view as an increased regulatory environment on connected vehicles. As you'll note, Tyler, the U.S. just released their notice for proposed rulemaking on connected vehicles. They will say that this is also retaliation on the Intel side for making it more difficult for China to access semiconductor chips. Listen, here's what I will say, and that is both countries have a concern that connected vehicles pose a national security challenge. So the irony for me here is the Ministry of State Security and the U.S. National Security Establishment both agree that these vehicles that can connect to the critical infrastructure that is collecting data on its users, that's geo-mapping, both sides fear that these vehicles will pose a national security threat. And then one final point here, because there's some irony in this as well, Tyler, and that is there are some Chinese companies who have been conducting tests on U.S. roads, California in particular, which has a permissive environment. So this action will likely increase calls here in Washington to have a reciprocal action against some of those Chinese companies doing the same thing that the Ministry of State Security is accusing a foreign company of doing. If it's Mobileye, Mobileye has a Chinese partner in Zeekr. There are no requirements for a partner here in the U.S., Tyler. So you can see this is going to get ugly before it gets better, in my view.
One quick kind of button on that, Dewardric, is what would you say to investors who are maybe heavily in the chip space, who are trying to think about how to be in the sort of what's becoming the AV, the sort of autonomous driving space? What's the fundamental takeaway?
that the competition around this space, Kelly, is just not settled. And it's hard for, I've been trying to figure out just how small the yard is, how big the yard is going to get, just how high the fence is. And as we see, this is a moving target because each side is acting and reacting. So I think we're still at a space right now where it's difficult to advise clients or investors on how you can play this space. I will say that it's important not to just think about the commercial aspects because the national security aspects, as we're seeing, is playing heavily in how both countries engage with companies in this space.